If you want to, or if you can, make sure to go and support me on my Ko-Fi page, TikTok, and on my itch.io page. Links are all in the description below. So you want to get into the world of game development, I hear you. You want to start making your own games and apps, but you're a complete beginner and have absolutely no idea, but don't want to go through the beginner stages of first learning Scratch and then whatnot. You just want to get into the game engine and just basically get started right off the bat with learning about the game engine and whatnot that you're going to be using. Which is the best game engine, at least in my opinion, for this type of person? Well, for this type of person, which is a complete beginner, wants to learn easily and quickly, and doesn't want to get too overwhelmed, then Godot, at least in my opinion, is the absolute perfect game engine for that type of person, and for most other complete beginners as well. And today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts and reasons as to why that's the case, at least in my opinion. So without further ado, let's get started with the first point, which is the Godot UI itself. When you look at the UI of other engines, specifically Unreal Engine and Unity, which I'll be using most of the time as a comparison point in today's video, most of their UI is quite challenging, to say the least, or at least it looks quite challenging. To a complete beginner, it looks quite challenging and quite overwhelming, but Godot's UI doesn't look like that. Godot's UI is very simple and very easy and fast to navigate. And even from the very first time I used Godot, I never really had any issues navigating the Godot UI because of how simple it looks and how easy it is to just follow and do stuff inside of it. So it doesn't overwhelm the user or scare them away from using that game engine, which did happen to me when I tried to use Unity or Unreal Engine. The UI just wasn't for me. It was actually way too overwhelming for me, and I actually usually got lost inside of the UI. And so anyhow, going on to my next point, which is sort of connected to my first point as well, is the whole workflow of the game engine. An easier UI also makes the entire workflow of the game engine a lot smoother and a lot faster as well. I've managed to set up the easy basics of a game like character movement or UI or anything similar for a game in like under a day. It's like at this point it's become extremely easy for me to do this. While inside of Unity or Unreal Engine, even if you're learning for months, it still felt like making a single piece of UI took like ages to make. Which is super important, especially for beginners, because beginners don't want to get overwhelmed or slugged or slowed down by slow UI or a bad interface or just an unnavigatable interface or anything similar, or because of a bad and slow workflow. In Godot, that's not the case. Everything is extremely easy and navigatable, and the whole work process just feels so much smoother and so much faster than in other game engines, which definitely helps out beginners. Now my next point / reason as to why I think Godot is great for beginners is because of the programming language, which is GDScript. Now GDScript is an extremely easy programming language to learn. I managed to learn like the complete basics in about 2 to 3 weeks, which for me was absolutely insane because I had spent literal weeks to months trying to learn C# and C++, and oh my, those two programming languages are miles ahead in terms of their difficulty curve than GDScript is. GDScript is way easier to learn, and I think a big part of that is the way it's structured. It's basically a mixture of Lua and Python, which makes it so much easier to learn and which makes it basically so much easier and so much understandable to write and read the code that you're making / reading / reviewing or whatnot. Inside of C# or C++, I'd constantly be looking at references, or I'd constantly be looking at help or something similar to basically help me understand, or at least slightly help me understand what I was reading. With GDScript, I haven't used help for that kind of stuff in probably ages. And so now my final point / reason as to why Godot is such a good game engine for beginners is because it's completely free and open source. You see, for Unreal Engine or for Unity, you have to pay for something. Let's say, for example, to remove a watermark, or for certain features, you have to pay a subscription. And most likely that subscription is quite a lot of money that you probably don't want to spend on the game engine itself, and you probably want to spend it elsewhere. Like, I don't know, let's say if you don't want to make sprites and you want to pay someone, there you can use the money on that, or for music or anything similar. There are a lot more better ways to use that money than to just use it on a game engine. And I feel like that's why it's so important that Godot is completely free and open source, because everything is completely free, from the watermark to everything. Like, literally everything inside of Godot is absolutely free. There is not a single thing that you have to pay for, and on top of that, it's completely open source as well. So let's say if there's something that they haven't added yet, or they're adding it and you don't want to wait, and you actually know how to add stuff into a certain game engine, boom, there you go. It's completely open source. You can add that feature that you really want inside of the game engine, and there you go. You've literally created your own version / branch of Godot, which is so insanely cool in my opinion, and it opens the door so much to basically everyone, not just beginners, but to everyone, to make amazing ports of Godot and to add stuff and whatnot, and to basically work with the game devs, which has been going on and is still happening to this day. But anyhow, yeah, that's all of my points / reasons for today. I hope this helped you choose your game engine, and I hope that this video was helpful or useful in any way whatsoever, really.